other things also. So last session we talked about profiles. So, and in profiles, what did we see? We saw that we can control permissions to apps, objects, and tabs. So these are the things that we saw in our last session, right? In case you need to control permissions on applications, objects, or tabs, you can do it through profiles. Okay. There is one more requirement that a company can have. Okay. This requirement is controlling permission to the fields. What is this field permission? Think, for an example, there are certain users, you want them to be able to access certain object, but one or two fields of that object are you don't want them to see that information in that one field. Let's say we talked about the project object and the client object. Okay, so let's say in the project object we had a field called estimated time. We had that field. Let's say the company wants their HR people to see the name of the project and the start date, end date, but they don't want them to see only that estimated time field. They just want to hide one field. That is pretty much possible, right? In our last session, we were talking about controlling access to the entire object. So not giving access to the entire table. That is one scenario. The other scenario can be they want to give access to the table, but one of the fields in the table they want to restrict. That is possible, right? So for that, what we have to do, we have to define field level security. So this is called field level security. And this is also done through profile. Let's go and do this. So this is also on profile. Where do you see profile? Under setup, manage users, profiles. Let's take any of the profiles. Okay, so to control the field level security on a profile, we won't need to click on edit. Please don't click on edit. Scroll down a little. Come here to field level security. Okay. In this field level security, you can define access to a particular field also. Like for project we were talking, right? So come to the project object, all the objects are listed. Click on the object. The moment you click on the object, it will show you the list of all the fields there, right? And then you can click on edit and control the access to the field. So estimated time. I don't want this field to be visible. That is what I want, right? So you can remove the access, or if you want, you can make it a read-only field for certain profile. So we have both the options. Either we don't give the access to view the field as well, or we don't give the access to edit the field, right? So it's pretty similar to the objects thing that we did the other day, but here we are just dealing in an individual field, and here it was a complete object for which we were defining the access. Here, so whatever components we had, before talking about profiles, we talked about the different components of Salesforce, right? And we designed the data model and we designed the application. So whatever components are required for designing the application, access can be controlled on everything, almost everything, right? So security and access part is applicable on each component of Salesforce. It can be application, it can be a tab, object, field, not just all these things, I mean other things also. When you start creating a report, we'll need to control access on reports. When you start creating your own pages, there will be access control on pages. So whatever is being created, because that is a kind of requirement they have, right? So so far we have just talked about these things, so that is the reason why I'm talking about these. So as and when we talk about other things, I will keep on telling you how the access is controlled for all those things, right? So profile thing we have understood. Now the next requirement. So these four things are fine. Now the next requirement that I have is data access. Access to these things is fine, but what about data access? Okay, let me give you an example. Let us take a simple example. Let's say you have we were talking about projects and clients and consultants, right? Let's say in your company you have 50 clients, okay, and you have two project managers. Okay. Let's say you have two project managers. One is Vijay and other is Ajay. Vijay handles 20 clients and Ajay handles 30 clients. Okay, record owner. So Ajay is the owner of 30 clients, Vijay is the owner of 20 clients. Now, what the company wants, they want that Ajay should not be able to see these 20 clients which Vijay owns, and Vijay should not be able to see these 30 clients that Ajay owns. Okay, so the company wants to put a restriction that anyone at a project manager level should not be able to see the data of other project manager. Okay, and that's a pretty valid requirement. So it is pretty much required in companies. Think about things like when you put, I'm just giving a couple of examples. All your PTO requests and all that you put, that also goes into some system, right? Your friends do not see that, or your colleagues do not see that. You see your request, or your appraisal details that you put there. Others do not see it. Your manager and all might see that, but others do not see that, right? So that is pretty much possible in this kind of a scenario also. When we are talking about CRM or any other application, there can be a requirement where the business does not want one project manager to see other project managers' data, or one sales executive to see other sales executives' data. So now this is where we need to control the data access. Fine. So here we have to control the access to the data, because clients, all these 50 clients are in this object, right? So both of them need to have access to clients object. So this object level access will not work here. Tabs wala thing will not work here, because both of them need access to the clients tab. Both of them need access to the apps. Both of them need access to the same fields. So till here they need same kind of access. But the data, the records, now we are talking about the records. The record level access needs to be different. So for that, what they need to do, or what we do in Salesforce, there's this concept called sharing settings. What is sharing settings? Sharing settings is setup that we do for the sharing of records. Okay. So as I told you, Ajay owns 30 clients. So these 30 clients, who is the owner? Ajay. these 20 clients, who is the owner? Vijay, right? So whether Ajay will get to see Vijay's record